Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's third and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's third video. So day 10 is going to take us to around the 19th of September. And we'll be able to extend out beyond that with extended GFS and ECM ensembles, maybe around a couple of weeks. Have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which gets us into the early part of October. I shall get on with all of it for you in a second. Just say that the first video release day was our 7 AM forecast. We've also released the European Outlook, so check out those two if you'd like to do that. And yes, here's your 10 to 14 day that I'm going to get on with in a moment. Please give us a sub if you aren't yet subbed to our channel. We are on the final sort of push to 12k. We have got to 11,951 subscribers, so less than 50 to go now to get us to 12k. So hopefully we'll be able to do this in the next week or so. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Tell friends and family to subscribe as well, and that's going to get us to our target, of course, which is 12,000 subscribers. When we get 12k, we are giving away a little bit of GavsWeatherVids merch. So if you'd like one of our pillows, giving 2 of those away, you can email me at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com, and I'll add you to the prize draw that way. Alternatively, if you're on Discord, you can respond to Sal's post in the giveaway channel in the Discord server with the snow emoji, and yeah, that's how you can do it that way, or you can email me directly. Thank you so much, everybody. And as I say, when we get to 12k, we're going to give away that those 2 pillows. Just 49 to go, less than 50. Wow, incredible. Thank you so much for getting us this far, everyone. Right, okay, let's begin the video then. So we're going to start off by having a look at what's going on in the tropical Atlantic. 3 areas of interest. Let's deal with the yellow X first of all, down here. So that is disturbance 1. There's a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days and a 20% chance in the next 5 days. So this is saying the northern portion of a tropical wave over the Western Caribbean Sea is forecast to emerge over the southern Bay of Campeche on Saturday. Environmental conditions are expected to be conducive to support some gradual development of the system before it moves into mainland Mexico next week. Of course, when it gets overland, it will dissipate. We've also got tropical depression Mindy just here. Somewhere around the Florida and Georgia border. So that is tropical depression Mindy, as I said, giving maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 1,004 millibars. If we click on Mindy and go here, we can see that this is forecast to stay as a tropical depression. So the current position is just there on the Florida Georgia border. Will move out into the Atlantic, so it's a tropical depression, then sort of dissipate as it moves out into wide waters of the Atlantic Ocean. There was some sort of idea that around this area it might develop further, you know, to tropical storm and or hurricane, but at the moment it looks like they're keeping that as a tropical depression and then sort of going post-tropical and dying away to the north of Bermuda. And then we've also got Larry. Of course, his long-standing hurricane is still there. So Hurricane Larry is currently giving maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 969 millibars, moving north-northwestwards at 16 miles per hour. This is a Category 1 hurricane. So if we go here and click on that, you can see that Hurricane Larry is going to pass just north and east of Bermuda, so giving Bermuda a bit of a glancing blow, but not a direct hit. Then moves up towards Nova Scotia by the weekend, still as a hurricane, by the way. So giving a glancing blow again just on the eastern side of Nova Scotia sometime Friday into Saturday, still as a Category 1 hurricane, which is quite unusual to get a hurricane that far north, but it does happen on occasion. And then Larry will move to the south of Greenland as we go further on into the weekend, going to a post-tropical storm by that point too far north, you know, to be able to sustain hurricane characteristics. So, and that should be the end, well, that will be the end of Larry Ben, although this area of low pressure, could move further towards Iceland and whatnot, but just as an area of low pressure. Right, so that's brought your take of everything that's going on there. Back home, the heat wave is breaking down. We've got rain across parts of the country, although where I am it's still dry in Northampton for the time being. But we've got quite a bit of heavy rain across Scotland, and we've got some heavy showers breaking out across Wales and southwestern parts of England. If we add on the lightning detector, you can see there isn't all that much lightning at the moment. A few lightning flashes across western parts of Scotland, otherwise not much in way of thunder. These showers will get livelier through this afternoon, though, and there is a risk, of either heavy rain and or thunderstorms. It's not a classic thundery breakdown. Again, this is very typical of a thundery breakdowns that we've had this summer and over the past few summers, really, which is not a classic thundery breakdown, not a classic heat low from central Spain, but moves over Biscay, picks up lots of moisture over Biscay, and then moves north to France into the UK. It's not that sort of classic Spanish plume thundery breakdown. It's just a general trough of low pressure moving in from the southwest, and because it's a warm, humid air mass, there is the potential for some thunder storms with it. But it is not, it's not a classic thundery breakdown as I would term it. But nevertheless, there will be heavy showers of thunderstorms breaking out this afternoon, and most likely being in more western areas today, and then probably a little bit further eastwards tomorrow. Temperatures are also coming down, but it's still very warm in the southeast. We've got 25 degrees there flashing away at Norwich, for example, which is very warm, for the 9th of September. But that's 2 or 3 degrees down on yesterday. And generally temperatures are down. So to Western, for example, is at 18 degrees, Cranfield at 20. This point yesterday, we was mid to upper 20s in all of these places. Birmingham at 21, East Midlands at 22, Cardiff at 18, Sennybridge at 18, Lake Burnley at 18, go to Valley, 20 degrees there, it's near 30 this time yesterday on Anglesey. So yeah, temperatures have dropped significantly, but it is still a warm air mass. So lower temperatures, but not particularly cold. And took it to the very far north of Scotland, and there it is much cooler. Aviemore at 14 degrees, Loch Glasgarnock at 15 degrees, at Ahara at 14, Wick at 13. So it does get properly autumnal across central and northern parts of Scotland. But otherwise, it's a relatively warm air mass, but significantly down on the tremendous heat that we've had over the past few days. Central temperature, now look at this, CET for September, provisional to the 8th, is coming in now at 18.0, 18 degrees. Wow, you don't often see that in September. It has happened, I can't remember it happening a few times, but it's quite rare to get the central temperature for September up to 18 degrees at any point in the month. That is 3.3 degrees above average, so it has been a very, very hot first week to September. I think that is, even with the first day being a little bit cooler than average. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first day of the month was actually a bit below average. So we really have put rocket boosters on the CET during this first week. Of course, that will come down a lot over the next few days, even though we're not going to be in a particularly cold air mass, just by the fact that we are not holding the temperature up at the very hot level that we have been doing. We'll see this reducing quite a bit. So I would imagine by this time next week, it's probably down into the 16s. That'll probably be down in 16s, maybe even upper 15s, who knows. And then we'll wait and see where things are in the second half of the month. But yeah, certainly for the first week of September, really, really hot with that central temperature. Means with GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles next couple of weeks on Cardiff today. So red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Cardiff. So we brought this down a lot. You remember yesterday, like we was up here around 15 degrees at 850 HPA. Now the upper air temperature is somewhere between around 10 and 12 degrees, 850 HPA, but it'll drop further into weekend, going under 10 degrees, which is still a bit warmer than average. It's not cold, but it's certainly lower than what I've had over the past few days. We go into the middle of September, so early to middle part of next week, and we may see temperature lifting up a little bit again, but that will be associated with low pressure, so not back to like heat wave conditions at all. And then into the second half of September, just very close to average, really, with those upper air temperatures. So there's certainly no sign of a return to the extreme and excessive heat that we've had over the past 2 or 3 days, and more unsettled too. So this precipitation spike here is of course associated with the cool down that's currently going on, breakdown. A couple of drier days coming up then. Friday for Cardiff, remember, further east there will be showers tomorrow, but Friday through weekend a little bit dry. And then next week it does look as though turns increasingly unsettled. Bear in mind, Cardiff will be quite a wettish place because it's next to the Irish Sea and near the Atlantic, so it will be exposed to weather system coming off the Atlantic. But I think it does look as though like mid and second half of September could well start a bit more unsettled, at least for a while anyway. Temperature anomalies from the 9th to 17th of September, still above average, so still a warmer than average week coming up, just not as extremely hot as it has been. Precipitation anomalies from the 9th to 17th of September. This is something we're not seeing for a little while, actually. Some areas actually coming out, or for a long while, I should say, some areas actually coming out wetter than average. It's been a very long time since we've seen that. So we've got the far southeast of England coming out a bit wetter than average, and East Anglia. We've also got parts of Ireland and around these Irish Sea coasts of Wales coming out a bit wetter than average. Otherwise, near normal precipitation, which is a big change to the very dry conditions we've had over the past few weeks. Eastern Scotland still coming out drier than average there. But overall, that does look significantly more unsettled, doesn't it, compared to what we've seen over the past few weeks. Latest info map from earthnullschool.net shows that the pattern is starting to change now. The cool down is coming courtesy of a change in the wind direction. So those hot southerly southeasterlies are being pushed to our east. They're going into Germany and then around here into the North Sea. But we are starting to see a wind going more southwest, which is not a cold wind direction, but it's certainly a cooler wind direction coming in from the Atlantic Ocean. And the origin is about does actually, the origin is actually from the North Atlantic. So it is definitely a cooler air mass that's coming in with this area of low pressure and will cool things down and freshen things up, and particularly so the more northern areas. And eventually by the weekend, actually Scotland with these northerly winds will start to turn quite cold. We already see the first signs of that across the far central and north part of Scotland, as we saw with the temperatures observations from XC Weather. Right, let's start going through the generic charts then, see what's going on with those. Let's put webcam back on. Hello on that. Right, let's have a look then. So this is how the UK Met is looking via the weather outlook for midnight on Sunday. So that thundery low that we've got at the moment, that's going off to Norway and to Sweden. We'll actually be raising the heights a little bit over the weekend, but pulling in some quite cool air into the northern half of the country in particular. Monday through to Tuesday, we find this area of low pressure developing to the southwest. Winds are going back into sort of a southerly southeast direction, but it's not particularly hot air that's coming in with that, I have to say. So no return to excessive hot weather, and eventually we start to move this area of low pressure in off the Atlantic. So through next week, just an increasingly sort of unsettled flavour to the weather, really, with the UK Met. It's not a rapid transition into unsettled weather, but this low, through Tuesday through to Wednesday, that will bring some quite heavy showers, maybe thunder again, southern and southwest areas. And then by the very end of the UK Met, it gets to midnight on Thursday next week, a week away, it looks like we're about to unleash this area of low pressure in from the Atlantic. So that'll probably bring a band of quite wet and windy weather across the country with it. Right, this is how midnight GFS is looking, or was looking, as it's been superseded by the 6F, or about that in a second. So, midnight GFS for Sunday, low pressure going off to Norway, heights rising a little bit to our west. So, early next week it tries to settle, but doesn't really. This trough will start to move in off the Atlantic, and that brings a further band of rain, across the country through the early part of next week. So that could be quite heavy. Into the middle of next week, we're under a trough of low pressure, so still looking pretty showery then. And then the second half of next week, and something we've not seen for a very long time, quite a deep and autumnal looking area of low pressure develops to west of Scotland, and that just brings wet and windy weather in from off the Atlantic through the second half of next week, and quite cool temperatures with that as well, by the way. So that looks genuinely autumnal there with that low through the second half of next week. That low still hanging around into weekend of the 18th and the 19th of September. Another low developing to the west of Ireland there as we get to day 10, which is the 19th of September. Probably up the southwest, so not cold, but certainly rain, particularly for more northern and western areas. So another batch of wind and rain comes across the country just around and beyond day 10, this is Monday 20th of September. That looks quite unsettled as well, with low pressure to the west of Scotland. We then start to raise the heights again to our south and southeast in the extended range. So it gets to 22nd of September. Heights rising once more to the southeast. It's not bringing extreme heat back, but it's certainly turning things a bit drier and warmer again down in the south, and this high pressure then takes over right at the very end across southern Scandinavia. We're pulling in the wind from an easterly direction. With that, have a look at the upper air temperatures. We can see that again it's quite warm for western air, but it is cool now to our east. Remember, it's a cooling season, autumn. So, if we start picking up easterlies, in October and in November, it will get progressively colder, and already we see that this particular easterly is actually starting to drag in cooler air from the continent, from the east. So I mean, it's not cold, but it's not anywhere near as excessively hot with that as it has been with that area of high pressure. But it does get us back to dry conditions quite quick. There is a period of unsettled weather that we go through there, starting next week and going up towards day 10. But just beyond day 10, it does get us back into high pressure again quite quickly. That's how the midnight roll. So we're 6Z. So again, on Sunday, the low pressure going to Scandinavia, heights rising, or trying to rise over country, but not really managing to do so. This is another trough coming in from the west through Monday into Tuesday. That again probably bringing showery conditions across the country. Could be some quite heavy showers mixed in with that. And then second half next week, again, same idea as the midnight run. Really, in comes this deeper low from off the Atlantic, bringing wind and rain and quite cool temperatures in from the west. By day 10, though, the 6Z again is getting us back to higher pressure once more. Again, this is not a hot ridge, but it does get back to drier conditions and probably near average temperatures, I would have thought. And in the extended range, again, same idea. High pressure takes over across Scandinavia. We bring in the wind from the east, but it's not a hot easterly. This is bringing actually relatively coolish temperatures in from off the continent. Before low pressure again coming back in from the west and turning us unsettled once more. So a duel going on between higher and lower pressure here, but no sign of a return to the extreme heat that we've had over the past few days. Let's have a GM look. If you're enjoying the video, then please can you smash your like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much for doing that. And drop a comment after the video and let us know what you think. So again, let's have a GM looks for Sunday. Heights trying to rise to our west and southwest, but not really convincingly so. Actually looks rather showery, I think, through the early part of next week, and turns increasingly unsettled into the second half of next week, with this low coming in off the Atlantic, probably bringing quite a bit of rain and cool temperatures with it. By the very end of the GM run, it looks like we're trying to raise heights from the Azores to Scandinavia, so trying to get back to some higher pressure once again. And then we've got the ECM that looks like this. So again, the low pressure is going to Norway on Sunday. Heights trying to rise over the country through the early part of next week, but not this time convincingly so. And actually through next week, just turns generally more unsettled. Low pressure comes up from the south midweek, and then this rather autumnal looking low comes in from the Atlantic later on next week, towards the end of next week. So quite unsettled there. Heading up towards day 10, ECM is building a ridge over northern parts of France, so trying to get back to high pressure by day 10, but with low pressure out in the Atlantic, quite deep low pressure as well. It depends how strongly that ridge builds, whether we will genuinely go back into high pressure, whether it's just transient and low pressure rolls in over the top. But definitely next week has a more unsettled look to it, and we may start to get back some higher pressure later in the month, but if we do, I don't really, at this stage anyway, see a return of extreme hot temperatures. So for the time being, I think that extreme heat that we've had over the past 2 or 3 days is gone, and there's not any sign that it comes back. This is how the precipitation forecast looks based on that ECM run. Loads of showers. Some of them could be thundering coming up today. But at least down tonight, then tomorrow they probably spark up again. This time for more northern and eastern areas. Probably those of you in the southeast, your chance probably comes more tomorrow than today for a storm. Into the weekend, the showers ease off. There will be showers around over the weekend, but it's nowhere near as wet and nowhere as many and as intense as they are today and tomorrow. Very wet across Ireland, you'll notice. Some of that rain creeping across the Irish Sea in towards parts of North and West Wales through the early part of next week. But generally, the rain through the early part of next week with the ECM midnight run is towards the north and west. Brings around to dry weather to around the middle of the week in the south and east. But then up comes this wet weather from the south. So some of that could be thundery, looking quite wet through the middle of next week. Then late next week, wind and rain coming in off the Atlantic. So that gives us all a dose of wet weather later next week. And then by day 10, still wet towards the north and west, but mainly dry in the southern and eastern areas of that high pressure tries to start and build. So these are the options on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10. From the Icelandic Met Office gets us to the 19th of September. 20 members of the ECM ensembles, including the control and the operation room, have low pressure to our north and northwest at day 10. Heights rising across France, so trying to get us back into high pressure. From the south, anyway, does turn drier. 16 with a ridge building through the country up to a Scandinavian high. Low pressure out to the Atlantic. That is also trying to settle us down. 8 bringing low pressure in off the Atlantic. It's going to be very unsettled, of course. If it comes off, it is combined with northern blocking. And 7, this is the warmest, driest option, I think, with high pressure just to our east. And with that, we're pulling in east winds. Well, not necessarily overly warm. Easterlies in the second half of September might not be all that hot. It just depends where the origin of the air mass is coming from. And then in 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. Gets to the 24th of September. 15 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure over and to our northeast, bringing in the wind from the east with those. Mainly dry again. Probably quite warm, but not extreme heat with that, I wouldn't have thought. 11 have high pressure over Scandinavia, reaching a little bit further southwards with low pressure in the Atlantic. That could combine to pull up some quite hot air from the south with those, actually. But how long that would last, I don't know, because this is quite a deep low in the Atlantic, actually. 10, just here, that has low pressure over Ireland, just to the west of us. That's going to be quite unsettled, I think. That's breaking down the ridge and turning us unsettled. And then 8, just here, looking very unsettled with deep low pressure to our west and southwest. And another 7, bringing low pressure in off the Atlantic. So both those options are going to be cool and wet options, really. So again, it's inconclusive. It does look as though the second half of September is going to be more unsettled than particularly the first week of September. But beyond that, we just wait and see how this all works out, I think. CFS V2 finally, and then we're done with the video today, and with today's videos, actually. So, 500 millibar height anomalies break down to week periods. The first week period takes us from the 9th to 15th of September. The coming week has some higher pressure to the north and west of Scotland, with some lower pressure to our south and southwest. So we're breaking down the high pressure, we're turning more unsettled, and there will be some rain and a cool down going on, although still quite warm, but a cool down compared to the extreme heat we've had. Week 2 will be the 16th, 22nd of September. High pressure is over Scandinavia, low pressure around Greenland and Iceland. A little bit inconclusive for this week, but probably could be still relatively unsettled with that, actually. Week 3 is the 23rd, 29th of September. Still looking a little bit inconclusive here. Low pressure between Iceland and Greenland. High pressure just to our southwest. So I think that's still probably a bit mixed at the very least, to be honest. And then week 4 is going to be the 30th of September to 6th of October. High pressure then over and to the west of the country. Mainly dry, but probably a bit on the cold side. We could be pulling in the wind from the north or northeasterly direction with that. And of course, cooling time of year. So that could be quite a cool or even relatively cold start to October. We shall see about that, of course. Right, if you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. Thank you so much for doing this. If you subscribe, you're going to be able to see future weather content. Tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. That's amazing. And drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. Right, we're done then. As I say, we're fewer than 50 subscribers to put on now to get to 12k. So 12k is zooming into view very, very quickly. When it will happen, I don't know, but it shouldn't be too much longer to wait. Hopefully, please give us a sub and get us to 12k. Now, just so it's coming tomorrow, so we'll start with 7 a.m. Forecast. We're going to have GMA Friday as well tomorrow, 10 to 14 day. We'll probably release the ECM 42-day forecast tomorrow as well, I would have thought. So keep checking back to the channel for all of the updates. But for today's videos, that's all for now. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And no, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. What am I on about? Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.